Jonah, who was this?
Live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition and season finale of the Locker Room. Right here, I have very interesting crew in the house. Sly from Chelsea, Chris from United, and Mr. Liverpool himself, Jonah K. And we'll be touching base with the season-ending results, as well as doing a little bit of a dive into what that meant, the final look at the table, as well as what the new season holds for us. And we will get right into it after this. Solid. Welcome, everyone. If you're just joining us, welcome to the Locker Room right here on Top 6 Fan TV. And, if you're joining in for the first time, feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, share widely and widely. You are most welcome, and I will let the gentleman say what's up, starting it off with Mr. Sly. Say what's up, man.
What's up?
Hey, Mathew, we need to do it in order of table.
You see, that's what I'm saying. This ain't Wembley, man. Why you guys even trying to steal my intro?
Let's be respectful, man. We need to do it in order of table.
It's like even I, the
Chris
Astro
wants
fan,
to
can't say
introduce
no to
himself.
that. Even I, the Astro fan, can't say no to that. Especially the satisfaction that Chris is going to come last. So we'll kick it off with Jonah.
Nice to meet you guys. Jonah, as always, the Liverpool man. Over to you, Sly.
Well in, man. Too close, Sly.
See, you guys are now getting my emotions going, but why do I have to go after him? No. What's going on, guys? Great to be here as usual. Been a great season as always, but let's see how we can all wrap it up.
Brilliant. I don't have to introduce myself. I'll let my dad do the talking. Whichever side that is, man. But anyways, yeah, man. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Who am I?
Anyways, this is Cool and the gang. Anyways, Chris, over to you, man.
Chris.
Yeah, we said the best for last. I think the guys who have finished the season with the most hope has to be United, without a doubt. I mean, we can't go any lower. I mean, it's one of those where you hit rock bottom and there's nothing more after that. So I think it's been a tough season for us. But look, we're still united. We're still holding it up and kissing the badge and holding it up. We remain united.
Yeah, man, I did see that on the last day of the season, but we'll get into that. We will get into that. let's actually.
You don't have to do that, Mathew, man. You don't have to do that, man.
Yeah, anyway.
I just started.
The moment ladies and gentlemen, fantastic weekend of Premier League South. Going into the final weekend, match day 38, title yet to be decided. The fourth spot yet to be decided. More or less wrapped up the Champions League, and of course, relegation. It was into war down there in relegation, but it was a fantastic end to the season. Manchester City pipping Liverpool to the title in the most dramatic of events. I mean, I would say this was equivalent to the Sergio Aguero moment there for Manchester City. I mean, guys, you wade into it, but before I get into the actual results, kicking it off with Sly, and you're on the move, but I'm sure you're following the action. Manchester City finally winning 3-2 versus Aston Villa, coming from 2-0 down, and Liverpool's victory against Wolves eventually not mattering. Your view on that?
Yeah,
My view, Mathew.
No, Jonah.
Slide.
Jesus.
Sly, you're dying to get second place. I see you.
Oh man, he literally said, "Sly, what's your view?" And then you were like, "My view." Like, come on.
I'm sorry, bro. Go on.
What happened to Mathew though? It seems to have gone off for a bit now.
Oh,
Maybe his video.
Come on, go ahead, I'm here.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah,
There he is.
like the whole weekend was it was weird for me because first of all we weren't playing for anything, irrespective of whatever results we got. I mean solidifying third and whatnot. But in terms of Liverpool and City situation, I mean naturally I was very conflicted because I hate Pep Guardiola. I'm not a huge fan of his, as you guys all know. And okay, hate is a bit strong, but I'm not a huge fan of Pep. I think he's
why is that, Sly?
No, I think he's a bit overrated. Hold on, Matthew. Last I checked, this was like you were supposed to be the one cheering this thing. Why does this keep coming up?
Hey, Mathew. You made a mistake. You made a mistake to put me and Sly on the same thing, man. You made a mistake.
I feel like he's kept us apart all season, huh? Have you noted?
Yo, go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, of course, with Liverpool, I mean, we've had our history. We've been battling it from way back. In recent times, in terms of the golden goal, the ghost goal, should I say, and whatnot. Even this season, like 4 draws. And then of course they piped us in the cup, 2 cup finals. But the way they went about and they're going about celebrating it is like they thrashed us. But going back to the games, I thought I expected a bit more from Villa, especially after they went ahead. I thought the whole Gerard Coutinho thing was really going to pan out, and it was going to give us like a real fight to the last minute. And what's really dope about last games of the season is, of course, everyone kicks off at the same time. When there's a goal on one end, the fans on the other side celebrate, which of course has an effect on what's happening on the pitch. So I think with Aston Villa going 2-0 up, it definitely put a quite a bit of pressure on City. Plus they were losing. I started seeing Pep crack, which also got me a bit excited. But then I started thinking about hell. These guys do this and then they win the Champions League. We're never going to forget about it in 100 years. So
Chris, I want Chris to say something.
So yeah, I mean, it was Villa ran out of steam. I would have thought 2-0 up, they'll get a bit more defensive and put up a bit more of a block. But that was that. City, City. Once they get on their stride, I mean, as soon as it was like they pulled one goal back, I was like, okay, this is pretty much a wrap. But it was. It wasn't. I think the more interesting aspect of the final day was really what was happening with fourth place, and then of course what was happening with West Ham and Man United for the final European spot. The league was really it was really in the hands of City to lose, and they showed why they're champions.
Brilliant. I mean, Chris, and I'll come to Jonah last because as close to him,
let's not go to him
in close proximity.
I think his smile says it all. Look at his smile. Look at that grin. The guy is freaking. He might as well do a Colgate act, man. The guy is just grinning.
That's just my face. That's just my face.
I honestly don't know if Jonah is smiling. There's nothing to smile about.
Say the man you're fan.
Chris, I'll watch out for when you throw jabs, huh? Because you would just get punched up from like all different angles.
Hey, man, everyone's prickly today, man. Everyone's prickly today. But anyway, Chris, Your thoughts about how the seesaw between Liverpool and Manchester City played out. Liverpool, of course, playing with 13 men. The additional 2 men you see there that were playing at the Etihad as well. Not enough to guarantee them the title, but eventually, and Pep looked like he was done for, man. Pep actually looked like he was done for at 2-0 down. I feared for him, right? But Chris, tell us. Of course, you guys had Cristiano Ronaldo in the director's box as well, the Man City end. So you probably have a good view of the game as Man United fans. How did it go?
Look, for us, it was always a hard one for Man United fan. Yesterday was a very tough one. We had to make a tough decision whether to support the noisy neighbors or to support the guys from the Mathew side, and it was a very, very tough one. But just like Sly, I don't think I'm a big fan of Pep, but I think he likes to flog even a dead horse. He'll try and flog. Even when he's 6-0 up, he's still animated on the touchline, which really doesn't go well with me. So I'm not a very, very big fan of him. But for yesterday, I was 100% behind him because I could not stand for a quadruple mention in Merseyside. Not even a treble. I mean, I told you guys, it's not a treble without the Premiership. We will never have it. You can't call it a treble. You have the Mickey Mouse Cup in there. That's not a treble. It has to have the Champions League, the Premiership, and the FA Cup to be called a treble. So it will never be called.
You have 3 cups. As much as you call it, 3 trophies, right? And actually, Liverpool, if my records serve me right, are the only other English team to have done the treble without the Premier League, right? Gerard Houllier, same thing. FA Cup, Carling Cup, Champions League.
It doesn't matter.
5. He won 5, Mathew. Let's be serious. But away
the Youth Cup as well.
It does not matter. Without the Premiership, it's not the same. It doesn't have the growth. And Sir Alex remains undisputed. He got the FA Cup, he got the Premiership, and he got the Champions League. Now, the Champions League is not done, so let's not even call it a treble yet. I really don't think they'll beat Real Madrid in that final because Real has had a lot of resting days. Liverpool is done for legs, as you could see yesterday. But yesterday, it was really worrying at some point. I think they hit 20 minutes and it was 2-0 to Villa, and I was thinking, wow, he was actually bottled this up. Like at the very moment, I think he bottled up the Champions League and he's done it again with the Premiership. And like you said, I mean, he too had given up. But somehow he made the right substitution with Gundogan coming on, and immediately you actually ask yourself, why didn't he start? But that's, I mean, if you play fantasy, you don't play City players because Pep will make the weirdest decisions with these players.
Very true.
It wasn't a surprise that he made it harder for the boys. He made it harder for everyone. He made it harder for us over at United because we almost saw, Liverpool touch the trophy again. So they'll never do it again. They haven't done 40 years in front of their fans, and they have to wait another, I don't know how many years. It did not happen. The last time they won it, there were no fans in the stadium. It will never be the same.
Yeah,
I always said,
I mean,
that Premier League is tainted.
That Premier League is tainted. I move on to Jonah after Doctor Strange there. Chris was stuck in the multiverse of Sir Alex Ferguson. But Jonah, your thoughts on the game? I mean, it was a roller coaster. I was right next to you. I saw you jumping over the counter.
Before we get this lecture, before we get this 20-minute lecture. Like, let's say a couple of things. So just to speak on, just a couple of things from what Chris was talking about brought to the fold. Why does he always do that? Why does he get to like crunch time situations and that's when he chooses to do something different? I find it's very odd. Like he'll get to very, very kind of important games and he'll be like, today let me try something different. Forget what's always worked. Let me change the wheel today.
Can I answer that, Mathew? When I give my lecture, can I answer that?
Dude, man, you're up next. I think he's actually asking you, man.
Oh, okay. I will answer that slide while giving my lecture.
Yeah, but just before that, even me, Jonah, when I saw Fernandinho in central defense,
and John Stones in right back.
and John Stones is right back. Dude, that was for me like the usual Arsenal Xhaka left back business, man. The horror, boss. The horror. But anyway, over to you, Jonah.
Let me do it in two parts. First, I'll talk about my reaction to Liverpool failing to win the league. Then we'll talk about Pep. Because we need to talk about Pep. We need to talk about how the Premier League is becoming goddamn La Liga. No, not La Liga. Bundesliga. And Ligue 1. It's becoming a one-team league. We will talk about it. But
I think more like La Liga.
Wait, slide. But first, I will follow Mathew's structure and react as a Liverpool fan. Then we will enter. We will enter the other debate. First, I'll react as a Liverpool. So, as a Liverpool fan, to be honest,
I'm sorry. We must be in class. Please,
yes, sir. Get your pen and paper. Get your pen and paper. Please open your PowerPoint.
How to lose the league by 1 point? 101.
To be honest, the whole season we've been chasing these guys. Everyone who knows, and even the Liverpool haters like Chris and Sly. Mathew, I think, is a bit. Sly, man, why are you still talking, man? Mathew is a bit more open. Chris is a hater. He didn't pretend. Sly is a hater, but I think Sly hates Jonah more than he hates Liverpool. But that's another personal problem. That's another personal problem. But we can all agree that guys they bet their horses on Pep because he's good. And we have been chasing these niggas for can I say niggas, Mathew? Will YouTube flankers? Oh, I can't. Oh,
Good,
sorry.
Man.
We've been chasing these people. We've been chasing these people for 3 seasons, and they're a very hard team to chase. That being said, we took them all the way. It wasn't in our hands at any one point. In December, we were 14 points behind. We brought it to 1 point. I think we did well. I think even Stevie G, the legend, the God, he did his part. Coutinho did his part. Scored his goal. Very good goal, by the way. Mathew were there together. The pressure was on the whole match. Till the end, even Pep did tears. It was not easy. Now, that being said, that's my Liverpool opinion. Now we'll enter the other part, Mathew. If you will allow me to open the conversation look at the man doing tears there. Look at Pep. He can't believe it.
Yeah. The guy's finished.
Look at him. He can't believe it.
Tears of joy,
No, those are tears of I can't believe it. Anyway, Mathew, if you'll allow me to open the second level of conversation is
Go ahead, man.
What is the Premier League becoming? Are we becoming a one or a two-team league or a one-team league? Of course, Sly and Chris will not allow to say two-team league. I would like to think maybe it's becoming a one-team league because they've done what? 4 in a row?
Four in the last 5 years.
4 and 5. 4 and 5.
4 and 5.
With the one Sly saying is tainted. The one time that the PSG guys didn't win it, Sly says is tainted. I would like to open the floor to Sly first.
No, I mean, look, the thing is, jabs are jabs, but if we wanna talk a bit serious about it, this whole idea about the this gap that is materialized over the last couple of seasons with Liverpool and Man City, it is a problem. It's a problem. You have a situation whereby Liverpool have bought really well. Yeah, they've bought really well, and City have spent a shitload of money. A lot of money. Sorry, man, you're gonna have to do a lot of beeping in your editing.
No worries, man. No worries.
City have had to spend a lot of money. I think one of the reasons why the gap's actually been materializing is because not a lot of the other teams are really stepping up. Yeah. Namely, Arsenal going through a rebuilding exercise. Man United have been trying to rebuild for the last 10 years, I think.
Oh, come on. Arsenal's still rebuilding.
Tottenham have been stuttering. Tottenham have been stuttering.
Dude, focus on United.
So there's been a bit of inconsistency in terms of the chasing pack, you know. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Chelsea fan, but I think we're the only ones that has actually tried to put up any kind of a fight against them. And I think that's evident in the results that we have when we play against them. Whereas,
who is them, Sly?
Hold up, Sly. Let me just check. Let me just check the gap between Chelsea and Liverpool. So that's 92 points.
Don't get it wrong.
92 minus 74. That's 18 points clear.
18 points. The gap is there. Yeah. But what I'm saying is the difference come in the form of where we lost it off is the inconsistency of converting draws into wins or losing games at the last minute. You know, where you're going 1-1. So there's the tweak that has to happen at Chelsea is very minimal in comparison to say what needs to happen at United or what needs to happen at us.
Sly, do you realize you actually have no back four going into the season?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Window with no back four.
So
when you talk about that tweak, is that a tweak? That's not a tweak.
It's probably squad depth. Squad depth killed Chelsea.
You usually have no one
squad
at the back.
depth killed Chelsea.
Naturally, we're going to spend this winter. We've lost Rudiger. Huge loss.
How are you going to spend without Daddy Roman?
Guys, let me tell you, if you look at our spending record, we don't spend because of Roman Abramovich purely. And if you look at it over the last few seasons, we have one of the best.
Sly. Me and Chris can testify to this, and Mathew as well. Yeah. Welcome to American owners. You don't know. You don't know.
Lie. Oh,
wait and see.
Welcome to the American dream, my brother.
You have to.
We're going to have an American footballer in defense next season.
You might be looking at the price of players, but when you look at the spend vis-a-vis and look at it in terms of net spend, we are one of the best performing financial teams in the league because we sell and we buy simultaneously. Do you know what I mean? And so as a result, you'll find that what we're actually spending as a net spend when you calculate the two, it's actually very low. And that's a system that Abramovich had put in place himself to say, look, the team needs to become more self-sufficient. That's why we have our loan army. That's why we're signing on now multiple sponsorship deals. We've just acquired a new sponsor recently. We're getting additional sponsors coming on board. So it's going to go into that space of, okay, you know what, let the club spend what it can spend in terms of what it generates. But in terms of going back to Jonah's question of it turning into a top two league and so forth, I think slowly you're going to start seeing a bit more of a difference. I don't see Salah, Mane, and the likes lasting very long at Liverpool, i.e. in the near future. I don't see Pep remaining at Man City for very long, and all of those kinds of changes are gonna kind of bring back the balance. And of course, if Arsenal and Man United start to step up their game like Tottenham have, then we'll have something that goes back to a proper top six that's a bit more competitive.
But is that really going to happen? And I'll put Chris in here though, because Klopp and Guardiola look like they're enjoying this. Rivalry aside, if you look at those guys on the touchline, it's like Fergie and Arsene Wenger towards the end. Right? You want to have some wine, but in the early 2000s, in the early 2000s, there's some distance going on, right? So these guys look like they're comfortable. They're like, the target is 90 points plus. We must get to 90 points and see who's going to outscore the other in terms of points and whatnot. And with Klopp signing a new, what's that? Is it 2-year, 3-year deal, Jonah?
3.
3 years.
Yeah. But
Guardiola.
It's an extension to his previous.
It's an extension to his previous, which was, I think, expiring next season. Same as Guardiola. Now, Guardiola we haven't had confirmation of his extension, but the rumors are definitely swirling, and especially now that the guy secured Haaland. I mean, if he was getting some other striker, maybe, but he obviously wants to give next season a goal, especially in the Champions League, because
But
that has always
the
been the
champion
missing
without the
part.
Champions League is he won't
Yeah,
leave.
Yeah, he won't. He has to
yeah,
do it. He
well,
has to do
yeah, so without it, and that striker has always been, in my view, the missing piece of his jigsaw. But final point for me before I hand the mic over to Chris: the fact that this guy has won 4 out of 5 Premiership titles with a fantastic Liverpool squad, almost flawless this season, and of course the season before last when Liverpool won it. Without, let's say out of those 4 titles, 3 of them he has played without an out and out 20 goal a season striker. Because Gabriel Jesus is on what, like 9 goals for the season, and 4 of those came in one game. He scored 4 goals in one game. So he's not like a prolific striker. So and we all feared the worst last season when City were linked to Harry Kane. I think Daniel Levy did also a favor, because I can't imagine. Can you imagine Harry Kane and Kevin De Bruyne in the same team? That was madness, man. So anyways, Chris, I'll hand
No,
over to you, man.
no. Look, guys. I think we're forgetting something that's very, very crucial this next season, especially, and that's the World Cup. The World Cup is in November. That is a big, big game changer. Teams like City and Liverpool are probably going to lose 80% of their squads to World Cup duty, and that usually, remember, the World Cup comes around after the season during the summer break, and you have time to recoup that energy. And now the difference is it's in Qatar. That's a very hot place. You're asking these guys to go and play in a very different place at the beginning of the season, just probably 1/3 into the season. That's going to be a very big game changer. Yeah. So you have City and Liverpool probably losing 80% of their squads to the World Cup. Whether the Premiership, I don't know if the Premiership has communicated how they'll do it around that period, but those guys are not going to come back.
I think they'll have a winter break.
Exactly. Yeah. But the guys who go, remember, so teams like United, the effect will still be there. It's guys like United who probably won't have so many guys committed to World Cup squads. Tottenham, Chelsea, I think, might also have the same problem. Arsenal probably will not have anyone going for the World Cup. So there'll be, there'll be fresh as apples, right? There'll be crisp as apples. While Liverpool and City are going to lose to the number 5. No, who did Arsenal lose to? Arsenal had no one in the World Cup. The last I checked, did they have anyone in the World Cup last time around? Guys, tell me if I'm wrong.
Make a research.
I see. It's going to be a very, very big game changer, that World Cup, and I think it's going to give room. The other thing you forget is
that's very true. That's very true.
Tuchel is going to probably be rebuilding. Ten Hag is coming in to just form a squad. He's basically said, I want probably 6-7 guys out and probably 6-7 guys in. That's going to be a different squad. Tottenham is the one to watch. This is his first window that he will have a full window where he's going to buy. And
assuming he doesn't go.
And Conte, assuming he doesn't go, but he's made of the same.
With Champions League, I don't think
with the Champions League, he's probably going to stay. And he's made of the same stuff as Pep and Klopp. If you see his animation on the touchline and his love and his zeal, and he just kind of pushes that into the players, and that's the difference with these two managers. I mean, when we had Ole, look, I was an Ole in guy, but I didn't like the fact that Ole sat in the dugout and watched the game on his iPad, even when we're 3-0 down. But these guys are on the touchline.
That guy's on. He's playing video games, man.
That energy just builds up onto the pitch, and so Conte is the one to watch for me, because one, he's not going to lose. He's not going to lose many players to the World Cup, and I think he's ended the season quite strongly. He probably is not going to lose many players from the squad either, so he's the one for me to watch. Ten Hag, who's going to rebuild. Arsenal, I wouldn't expect much from Arsenal next season, so that's going to remain, probably they might actually drop out altogether. But yeah, Ten Hag, Tuchel, who's season
Mathew,
rebuild.
I just want to quickly touch on. Sorry, Chris. I don't know if you are still saying something.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to quickly touch on something you brought up there, which was very important that I hadn't really thought about. The World Cup, right? There's something that has been happening in the last few seasons with the Premier League, where any small mishap, a draw, you're out. Like you're out of the race.
Yeah.
2-3 draws, you're out, right?
Yeah.
So in that same sense, like the World Cup is a very good point that you bring up. If guys go there and they stay too long in the World Cup, or they get injured or something happens, if you fail to show up in the Premier League in the first 5 games, it's done. Like the league can be decided. We've reached a point where it's so competitive. You get my point, right?
We could essentially perhaps even have like a Leicester type miracle season where no one that is expected to have won it just comes along and they win it, you know? Newcastle go ahead and buy a bunch.
You know, I disagree, Sly. I disagree, Sly.
Well, maybe not.
I disagree. I think it's now
it's
about consistency. I think it's now consistency, and I think anyone in the top 6 who doesn't perform in the first 5 games has lost.
Yeah,
that's my thinking.
But actually, another thing, Jonah, to throw into the mix next year, Premier League is introducing 5 substitutions, right? So it's 5 subs. So really, the depth of the squad, the deepest squad is, and the most uninterrupted squad are the ones going to be challenging for, like Arsenal is probably going to be out of it. Just the squad management is just totally off. It's probably going to take a couple of seasons to get it. But United as well, with all this, all these chaps you need to throw out, the guys that need to come in, that need to gel, probably won't be enough. And with the World Cup interrupting that momentum, then, it's going to be a topsy-turvy season. But for me, my worry is Spurs, because I'm looking at that team, I'm looking at that coach, and I'm looking at it's only Harry Kane going away for the World Cup, Son is staying. And most of that team, Son is staying, Kulusevski. Well, I mean, they have to buy Kulusevski because he's on loan. But all the other guys, Son, Dyer, and Hugo Lloris, all the other guys are staying. So and they're obviously going to buy, right? So I'm worried. I'm most worried about Spurs being the dark horses for next season, to be honest. But I think if Liverpool and Man City reinforce, I mean, Liverpool has already started. They bought this Cavallo guy from what's his name? From Fulham, right? Yeah, and so you're wondering, because at first it's like, why is Klopp buying all these players? Then I thought, oh shoot, it's 5 subs, it's a World Cup year. If you think about it, Minamino, Tsitsipas, Carvalho, Luis Diaz, all these guys are not going to the World Cup. It's Salah is not going. So I think Diaz guy is sick, man. Is sick. He's sick behind Kulusevski. The signing of the January window.
Man, that Kulusevski, even for fantasy, man, I've had the game since he came in.
Boss, points.
Okay.
Points.
Sorry, Matthew. Sorry for interrupting, but we have to remember, last game of the season, last day of the season, we lost. We have to mention Mike Dean's not back next season. Atkinson is also not back.
Chris,
Dean. I'm worried about Dean.
There are like 3 referees that reside.
Chris has lost a guy, man. Mike Dean, that's their nigga.
Lost the guy.
Yeah, man. Chris has lost. Chris has been losing. That's the last of the class of 92.
Mike Dean.
United ran out.
Mike Dean is the last of the. Mike Dean is the last of the class of 92. Then, of course, the last of the treble winners. The last of the treble winners to leave United was Howard Webb. And your legends be dropping like flies, man.
We haven't Mike Dean them for a while.
I'd much rather have McDean on the pitch than in VAR, man. The guy is going to be in VAR. He's going to kill.
Mike
Yeah, that's
Dean
the thing.
has
That's what
performed.
he's going to play.
Matthew, Mike Dean has performed more for Man U than Pogba. Pogba came for
all
what?
right, you know what?
How many millions? Are we talking transfers now? Matthew, allow me.
Right.
How many millions? They gave him to Juventus for free. And now he's going back to Juventus for free.
Man, 5 years.
But Mike Dean was free and he delivered trophies.
Free of charge.
You know that Pogba conversation always irks me. There was recently I was watching Mike Jordan and those Talk Sport chats, and there was a scenario. I can't remember which game it was. There was a United game where who's your captain, by the way, Chris? Who's your captain?
I don't even know you.
Harry Maguire.
Oh, Harry Maguire, yes, that's it. So Harry Maguire comes on during the game, and Fernandez had the armband, but he jammed to give him the armband as captain, and they were discussing it in Talk Sports. And one of the commentators was like, "You know what? If Pogba had done this, this would be like sacrilegious. You know what I mean? It'd be like back page news of how could he do this kind of stuff." And it's always interesting for me with the Pogba debate. It's always like, why is it that he can perform with France, but he's not performing with United? And you can't deny that when he's at France, like, dude, Pogba's a world-class player. You know what I mean? Yeah, fine. Yeah. He hasn't quite done it for United, but it's at one point or another, you have to look at the question the other way. Stop questioning the player. Look at the guys around him. And look at, because I think like they have a situation where it's like McTominay does some of his job, Fernandez does some of his jobs.
That's the thing, Sly, is I really want to hear Chris's opinion on this because he probably watches more Man U games than us.
Oh, for sure.
Like Fred, like me, I'm a Fred fan, man. Like Fred performs, and that guy will know he ain't shit. Please, Chris. Chris,
guys, let me tell you about Pogba.
Chris, before you go in, let's put into consideration Pogba's early season form, the first 6 games where he was untouchable on the assists table. Something was going on there. Solskjaer, Ole was trying something out that was working for Pogba. Yeah. That's the most lively I'd ever seen him. So now go ahead, man.
Sorry, Matthew. Just one quick joke there. Ole's tactic was the United DNA. I feel he enters the locker room and says the United DNA. That's his thing. And by the way, it worked. It worked.
That's the thing. He gave players. Someone like Pogba, just to add on to Jonah's point, someone like Pogba, who was part of the period whereby the United DNA was being generated, i.e. under Fergie, when this guy was like United DNA, he understood what that meant, It's playing out of your skin, playing out of your comfort zone, and he brought that.
Yeah.
And I think a player like Pogba is almost like you play players around him so that he can just do whatever he wants. You don't put too much responsibility on him. But anyway, Chris.
It's basically what Sly just finished with there. So it's just about the tactics. There's a difference in tactics between United, all the managers that have played Pogba at United versus what France has played. I mean, the last couple of years, France has always played. Pogba has this free attacking role where he has no defensive duties, and you have Mathew and Cisse behind him, and they do all the dirty work, and he just concentrates on the creativity up front. But if you go to United, from the person who signed him, Mourinho has been telling Pogba to get in, do some offensive work, do defensive work. Then I think Bruno came in when Ole came in, and then Bruno had to forward, and Pogba had to have defensive work and offensive work. And that's where he just doesn't have the DNA to do that work, right? But having said that, I think Ole had done a good job, getting the best out of him. He's a bit of when Fergie let him go, everyone said Fergie let him go for nothing, and then we bought him back for what, 100 million or 90 million thereabouts.
89 million.
Everyone said, Yeah, what bad business? But
That's us, the guys.
when Faggy let go of a player, guys, you had to actually know there is something. I mean, that guy was a management genius. If he let go,
I
he let
agree.
go of Beckham at his peak. He let
I
go of
agree.
Beckham at his peak.
Dude, I agree that he was a genius, but the fact that he let Pogba go, I think that was a
Yes.
bad move. That was an emotional move.
No, it wasn't a
Wait,
bad
wait.
move because
Wait, let Chris
because
finish.
he knew because Faggy had seen that
Let the man finish.
Pogba's character did not just fit into the team. It did not just fit into the United way of doing things. And even after Faggy left, they brought back, and he still could not fit in. He still, because he wanted to be, I mean, he went to Juventus and he was a star, but football in Italy is much slower. And the pace, and you could all see, I mean, the pace at which Pogba plays football compared to the Premiership, you just can't play like that. You won't make it. I mean, Villa yesterday took City surprise, and that's the Premiership. But if you play at that pace in Italy, you make it. But in the Premiership, you probably won't, especially if you have defensive duties. If you have only attacking duties, you will make it, but not if you have defensive duties. So that's the story around Pogba. I wouldn't mind losing him now. I mean, don't even the big
For
score
free.
over the weekend, so it's fine. I mean, it's fine
I'll take
for the
Pogba.
Champions League that they have to win this
They-
season. I'm fine. For the
Yeah,
Europa that they have to win.
we'll wait for the the transfer activity to pass our judgment on that. I'm sure you guys will be back in the house. Let's move the discussion down to the top 4 race and just finalize thoughts around that. I'll probably not spend too much time on Chelsea because they're probably the most consistent within that. The rest of the pack outside the top 2, so their third place was really never in doubt. But sandwiched in between United, sandwiched in between United and Chelsea was the North London tussle right there, and for me, I think the best team actually won the race for the Champions League. I think Spurs were deserved winners for that. Arsenal bottled it, but for me, it was bottled it because of a number of issues to do with them. Poor transfer business in January transfer market. Let go of 20 goal a season striker and did replace him. The issue was not replacing him. Letting him go was probably inevitable, but didn't replace him. That was a challenge. We were crying out for a midfielder. We even had, get this, January African Cup of Nations. We're in the middle of that. So obviously, Neni, Partey, whoever else was away. And we have one COVID case. And guess what? Arsenal requests for the North London derby to be postponed. Reason? Oh, we don't have enough players. What happens at the end of January? No midfielders are bought. What happens in Spurs? Kulusevski and Betancourt come in. What's the game that killed Arsenal's Champions League hopes? The North London derby. Karma is big hash.
Yeah. I blame
but
it.
gentlemen, your take on that?
You do.
Yeah, I do. I mean, inexperience.
Go on, Jonah. Go first.
Go on, Jonah.
I mean, since we're going according to the table, huh?
Now, Sly, don't throw your pram out. Now, Sly, don't throw your toys out of the pram. Let Jonah go first.
Obviously, Mathew and Sly, I follow Arsenal closely because my brother, who is my nemesis since Bible days, is an Arsenal fan. So I follow Arsenal closely. And Arsenal was doing very well, man. They were doing well. You guys had reached a level of arrogance where you were like, we can beat anyone. I remember the time. I remember when you guys even almost played us, and I was low-key scared, like, man, maybe they can take us.
That's tough.
Yes, even against City, because you played City. Remember when these guys played City and they were taking them?
City scored the winner in the last minute.
They beat you guys, but I mean, we're talking about top team slice, so let's focus.
Okay, you know what? As soon as I said the word, I was like, come back.
Wait, Chris,
Yo,
didn't they also
but
beat you?
Sly,
No,
yeah,
I
we
don't
beat
think
Chelsea,
they
man.
beat them.
Stamford Bridge is becoming 3-point bridge for the Arsenal.
But sorry, Matthew.
Kill yourself, huh? You see,
The
this
truth
is
is,
the problem.
I'm sorry. Let me get back on course.
Go
Antonio
ahead, Jonah.
Conte has been bringing these guys. Let me focus on Spurs. Antonio Conte has been bringing these
Spurs,
guys. Us personally, we didn't beat them. I think home and away, we struggled with them. I think they beat City along the way. You guys were also doing well, but every time you had a proper test, you somehow choked. Like, it's not that you didn't play well. You did. You did, even against the mighty City, you played well. But something just, you couldn't just pull it through. And I think that comes to Arteta being, for lack of a better word, a PE teacher. He just doesn't now see through, he doesn't have the experience. I said for
Man,
lack
I'm
of
not
a
going to
better
argue
word,
with that.
guys. I don't have a lot of English. I'm sorry.
I say it in Luganda. Yeah.
I don't have a lot of English, but
Say it in Randese.
for lack of a better word, he didn't have the experience to see through a game, like to just be. Same thing happened to Gerard, who is also a PE teacher. He could have held those Man City guys, but Conte is a mature. He has been around the world. He has done the thing, and we're seeing it. And Loki, Matthew, I think I said it to you or to Kevin yesterday. These guys are going to be a problem next season, and they, as you said, they truly deserve to be in the Champions League. They truly deserve to be top 4. That's my take.
Yo, Chris, what's your take on these guys? I mean, they finished. They obviously peeped Arsenal and United to the top 4 race, but you could argue. I mean, last summer, if I take this back to last summer, United obviously having done well. Let's not say last summer. Let's talk about the 1 month into the Premier League. Arsenal lost the first 3 games. Is looking very uncertain. Ole was not having some good form right there. Conte is available, right? He had turned down Spurs, right? So the 2 clubs he was linked to was Arsenal and United, but both teams failed to pull the trigger. United pulled the trigger too late. By the time they did that, and credit to Spurs again, right? Daniel Levy. I think we must give credit to Daniel Levy because he was very quick. I mean, if it was United,
you saw how long.
You saw how long.
Remember?
No.
No.
You saw how long it took to pull Ole's trigger, right?
No, Santos lost his job because Ole won that game. Remember, it was a Spurs United game, and United won. Whoever had lost that game was going. Remember?
Yes, I remember that.
The only reason why Ole stayed is because he won that game. If Espirito Santos had won the game, Ole would have gone and Conte would have come in. So it was one of they called it the derby for the job or something.
Well, in the end, my point is, they got the most experienced coach. The guy just came in and reorganized. I think it's like he had that missing jigsaw puzzle that Pochettino didn't have. You know what I mean? There's just something. He just, he just needed like 2-3 players, and all of a sudden, because he look. I mean, he plays 3 at the back, more aggressive wing backs, counter-attacking, right? Spurs are probably the best team at the counter-attack. This is why they were not beaten. I mean, they're the only team that didn't lose to both Manchester City and Liverpool the whole season. So for me, they were deservedly, they deserve that 4th spot. Arsenal on the other side, inexperience from top to bottom, from the board to the technical director to the PE teacher, Mikel Arteta, who was awarded a 3-year contract in the midst of a three-game losing run, in which the top 4 was basically slipping away before Spurs gave us some false hope. And then, obviously, the youngest team. Let's not forget, it's the youngest team in the Premier League this season. So, yes, inexperienced showed its head, unable to hold, to win where it mattered. But I think it would be a good learning experience. As much as we're incredibly disappointed, especially because the Spurs that finished above us, I think it would be a good learning experience for the kids. We add some little experience and a few good players to that, although it will be difficult with Newcastle throwing their money around and Spurs in the Champions League and Man United rebuilding and Chelsea wanting to build an entire new defense. And, it's going to be crazy, but we'll see what we can do. And hopefully Arsenal can kick on from there. But in my view, I think the best club got the top four. More experienced manager, better, world-class team players. I mean, Harry Kane and Son.
I think United.
So you can wade into that slide.
I mean, like even United messed up. Like when Conte became available and they were dilly-dallying around. For me personally, I was like, you know what? I didn't want it to happen because I knew what he was going to bring to the table, having experience.
Yo, man, me too, eh?
There was
I was actually worried.
Which there's a simplicity to the way in which he approaches the game, and I think a lot of great managers have that about them. In terms of, I minimize the game to a simple form where I like certain kinds of players, and they go out and do the job in which I do. I remember even I was watching an interview recently of PK speaking to Gary Neville, and he was talking about how Mourinho, when he was at Real Madrid, he had infiltrated the mind so much to a point whereby, like, he would meet guys at international duty, and Real Madrid players are like, I don't want to talk to you. You know what I mean? Like, and Conte has that about, like, he gets players just rallied up,
charged up.
Yeah, very, very, very charged up and passionate about their approach.
Yeah, Mathew, I don't know if you've seen that that video of PK. It's really dope. And I, like me as a Liverpool fan, I wish Klopp had that in him to rile up Pep.
Klopp does that in terms of he's like no bad.
Klopp does that a lot. Yeah.
No, he can make the players passionate, but he doesn't give them animosity.
No, okay, fair enough.
No, it depends. I think Jonah Klopp has to.
They don't really have.
He has a different style. No.
Yeah.
You know, actually, Sly and Jonah. I think I've seen Klopp do that, and it was against Arsenal. Remember when Arteta was trying to be cocky?
Yeah,
you know, when we were on form and we went to Anfield, and
even Lampard, Sly remembers.
Hey.
I remember.
So Arteta was getting a bit feisty there, right? And I saw Klopp come out. I was like, now this is.
And he riled up the crowd and the players.
Yeah, man. So the guy riled up the crowd, and from then it was just the game was lost for this inexperienced young team of Arteta. So he has that in him.
But he doesn't do it enough for me. I even said it on the group, Mathew. I'm not a nice person. I like to win dirty. Mourinho is my uncle. I don't care, man. Simeone is my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
I don't care, man. I like winning dirty. I don't care. Look at Son. Look at Son, man.
What we were discussing earlier when we were talking
but man,
about
you guys, Sly.
The top of the table, and we're talking about 1 and 2, because it does get into a space whereby it's like it's winning at all costs. You know what I mean? Yes, we love the way Liverpool can just show up and just do their rock and roll thing. We love the way City can show up and just do their tiki-taka thing. But the fact of the matter is, where they won the league, and speaking personally, where we lost the league, is they were able to win when they weren't doing that, when they couldn't do that. You know what I mean? When the game was going against the grain, you know what I mean? And I think that's kind of what has allowed them to grow that gap in terms of points and hitting that, because this is the second time they've gone to 1 point, right? Like I think
Yeah.
City, Liverpool. So there has to be something within that. Spurs deserve, but the thing is, and I think that this last mile dash that they had with Conte, like that's what's gonna make Hurricanes stay. That's where him is now going to settle. You know what I mean?
No one wants him, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he's 31 now.
Everyone wants him. It's just no one can afford him.
No one can afford him. Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just not really worth it to make that kind of a decision right now. And the
So
only
31 year old,
but then even before, because it was only City that were able to do that, you know. And now even more so, I think he's just gonna be like, you know what? Let me stay here. Let me give it like 2 years and see if we can win something.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're gonna pick up an FA Cup, a a good Champions League run or whatever is gonna come there as a result.
Right.
Arsenal, in my eyes, also the guys that really disappointed me for fourth was really West Ham. I think West Ham really deserved it because I think they put in a really, really good fight for the season.
They burnt out.
They ban out Europa League and a thin squad, man. This guy's only had Mikel Antonio for.
You know what I mean? And you always you look at teams like that and you're like, oh, you know what? If West Ham go and plunge like 60 million on players next season and pick up like 3 like decent players, huh? Like they could really, really, really try to do something. But it seems that they're trying to hold on that same mentality of spending. I don't know if you guys saw the contract they offered Declan Rice of like 80-something million for 5. And it's like, come on, man. Like, guys are getting paid like $500K a week. Like, how are you going to, try to offer somebody that has the potential to do something like that? United need to be very careful because I feel like even with 1 hug, 2 hugs, 3 hugs, I feel like they're trying to make the same mistake. Because I feel
No.
Honestly, on a basic level, I feel like they're like, look what Klopp did. Look what Tuchel did. Now, let's get the guy that has inspired them. And then now let's get another German. Like, no. Like, you have to find what works for you. It's not necessarily what works for someone else. Who's gonna
No. Like, what we've done.
I'm sorry. My opinion.
No. Let me tell you. What we've done to Ten Hag is change the style of play. Ten Hag is going to change the style of play. That's what's changing. The style of play. Just look. We moved from Moyes to Van Gaal to Mourinho. We're changing the style of play.
Think, for example, even if you had the money, do you think Haaland would have come to United? Answer me right now. It's a yes or no question. If you had the
Of course
money,
he would. Of course he would. He wants to play for United. Every player
they have the
wants
money
to play for United.
They have the money.
But do you think he would have come?
Yes, because every player is born to play for United. It's a dream for everyone. Everyone wants to play for Manchester United.
Chris, let's hope next season, at the end of next season.
Mathew, when can we do predictions?
We're gonna man, it's too early.
That's a different show, I think.
Next season. That's gonna be like different Charlie. No, you mean for Champions League? We'll do it. We're going close with that one. We're going close with that. But Chris, just on that, man. It's like,
yeah.
I hope Chris,
man. Even if you're home, I'm coming to your home.
Nigga, I was with Mathew.
I know where you live. Matthew. I'm going to watch the game.
I was with Mathew on the Premier League final. Where were you?
No. Tell that had nothing to do with me. Why would I want to?
Matthew even gave us branded t-shirts and capes, man. Where were you?
Hey, Matthew, they were goodies.
Yeah, they were goodies, man.
You guys,
I got you. But anyway, Chris, as we move on to, we're obviously finishing with the English Premier League and going to have a quick chat on the Champions League final coming up. But Chris, we'll pray for you. I'm actually worried about this World Cup coming up because I think it's going to mess with your momentum. I think
Yeah.
Chris come next season. He's gonna be looking at us here on the show and please give me
No,
one
no,
hug,
no.
2 hug, 3 hug,
4 hugs. I love it. I love it,
4
man.
hugs.
I can see
Matthew,
the part about.
Matthew,
Let's wait and
I
see.
think they actually they don't want hug. They want hugs. I just need 1 hug, 2 hugs,
2 hugs.
3
3 hugs.
4 hugs, 5 hugs. Anyways, yeah. So, guys, let's move on. Let's move on from the English Premier League. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, that's how it ended.
Why would you do
Spurs
that?
taking the 4th spot. Yeah. Arsenal 5th, United in 6th, and narrowly surviving because West Ham did lose their game. So West Ham will finish 7th and are into the Conference League. Drama at the bottom. I think respectable mention there for drama at the bottom. Burnley losing out and getting relegated. Leeds earning a win. Everton was safe and just came. They were already at the beach by the time they came to the Emirates. So Arsenal's 5-1 win was really insignificant at the end. And that wrapped up the Premier League's action. Fantastic end to the season, fantastic finale. I think it will serve up some more shocks. Yeah, go ahead, Sly.
This season, we're losing a cold day in Stoke. Like with every season,
Yeah, man.
we're losing that kind of, Burnley going down for me personally.
Now Burnley going down. Yeah, man. Who do we have?
But here's things like is them bouncing Sean Dyche. First of all, they needed to go down for doing that.
Man.
They needed to go down for doing that.
Everyone agreed that they needed to go down for doing that.
Exactly, Chris.
Yeah,
and Sean Dyche was Burnley. He's the one who gave them that football. Me personally, it wasn't my brand of football, but I loved when I see my enemies like Man U play those guys and suffer. Everyone loves
those guys are deadly.
City struggled against Burnley. That's what you loved about Burnley.
Chris Wood. And it was just
Chris Wood, man.
Who is this guy at Bolton with a big forehead?
Nolan.
That's what I
Kevin Nolan. No, Kevin Davis.
Kevin Davis. Dude.
Kevin Davis, yeah, man.
Go. It was this
Davis. Man, it was quite something, man. So anyways, Champions League, gentlemen. Champions League.
The same thing is happening because now at the bottom you're getting more of like the Leeds type of teams coming up and teams trying to play like that, which is kind of mimicking the top. You get what I mean? And it's just like we're losing that kind of, I don't know, quintessential simple English game of just like one route football and just being like hard to beat.
Football has been changing for a long time, Sly.
Yeah. No, but it changes every season.
Mathew, please drive us.
Gentlemen, like I said, we're concluding it and dashing it to the Champions League, but I did remember one other point. Gentlemen, Newcastle. If the form table was to be put up from the beginning of January, Newcastle would be top. They have become, like St. James's Park has become something else. They add 5 more players to that squad. Granted, Eddie Howe, yes, he knows how to organize a team. It's respectable, but I think he's still in the league of Graham Potter. For me, is not the kind of manager who force those guys into the top 6. I see them going back. I see Newcastle after next season sacking Eddie Howe and bringing in Jose Mourinho and giving him the blank check. Something as crazy as that.
I want to go in on this one.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Newcastle?
The thing with Eddie Howe,
Sly, you first.
When we had let me call the Smoker as our manager, we had this Tobacco Toka. He told a story during a press conference about how Eddie Howe just showed up to his training camp and he was just like, hey, I'm just here to learn. You know what I mean? Just give me the opportunity to just kind of be around and learn. The reason why I remember that story and why I think that story is significant is because Eddie Howe is a combination of what we would describe as a European manager in the sense of like the Guardiolas of this world and so forth, of wanting a flair, but also have that kind of English kind of essence in terms of just, Burnley,
Grit,
Cold David
yeah.
Stoke,
That grit, kind of
a manager, yeah, gritty and what kind of a manager.
Gritty and
so I think that he has essences of both worlds, and he can manage both, And what he's done with the players that he has brought on, most notably Trippier, like is that you can see he's almost he's shopping from a different pot. And the reason why I mentioned Trippier is because he speaks to the very same notions that I spoke to before in terms of his management style. English, but yet at the same time European experience and
exactly.
So I don't see them spending big. Yeah, I don't see them spending big because I think that when you look at the business side of things, a lot of people are getting into these situations, and when I say people, I'm talking about like buyers and people investing in football. They're getting into it based on kind of the results that come out and the financial impact that it has, and I think that we're going to start curbing spending a lot more, and that's why I was talking earlier about Abramovich and his whole idea of, what, this club needs to be self-sustaining. It can't always be me digging into my pockets and pay. So now let's boost up the academy. Let's buy a ton of players and put them out on loan and be like when you look at the financial side of things as fans, you'll realize that at Chelsea, like there's craziness happening. You know what I mean? Hell, we can sell Mason Mount for like what, 60 million, and we basically got him for nothing. And it's about that kind of thing and balancing. So I don't think Newcastle are going to spend heavily. I think they're going to keep someone like Eddie Howe and say, you know what, let's just keep trickling up the table. Let's go to Europa. Let's solidify a middle table. It's a long-term investment, and that's why I think like they're not going to be a threat per se, but they will be a club that will be doing. And that's why you look at if West Ham, for example, spend some money. Like I said earlier, like if they put down like a 60 million, they'll buy like 3-4 players here and there, and develop it and grow the club from there. I think that they're also now going to now get very competitive within that space because.
But Sly, the challenge. Sly, let me allow me to interject there.
Please, go ahead.
Sorry. I think the difference between West Ham and Newcastle, in regard to building the team slowly by slowly, is that West Ham is not going to be allowed to build that team. To be honest, I can guarantee you, a Spurs is going to come in for Jared Bowen. A United will probably come in for Thomas Suchek, and a Chelsea is going to dig up that fund that just going to dig up that check to bring Declan Rice back to Stamford Bridge. So they'll be constantly rebuilding. The challenge with Newcastle, as was the case with Man City when they were just rebuilding, is yes, they were building up slowly, but you couldn't offer them, like you couldn't break the bank to sign one of their players because they just, like how much money are you going to offer? If you wanted to go in for Bruno Guimaraes, even if you said 150 million, the guys would just laugh at you. They're like, dude, we're looking to spend that on your player next season. So I think in that regard, they will.
I don't think they
unlike.
They don't want to.
Nah, man,
they're not going to.
Hey, dude, do you hear what they're doing? They're competing with AC Milan in the transfer window for Sven Botman. They're competing
AC
with,
Milan.
yeah.
You say AC
What
Milan.
I know AC
Did
Milan
you
is
say
not what
AC
they used to
Milan?
be, but
When was the last time you
the
saw
guys,
them in the European
the
competition?
guys just won. Look, they just won. They have some cash. They just won the Serie A title. They're building up for the Champions League. The guys have actually apparently put a bid on for Darwin Nunes and Benfica. Guess which other teams won down? Barcelona can't even afford Darwin Nunes. So those guys are going to, they'll basically drive up the price of players in the transfer market. And I'll hand that. And there will be a problem because regardless of them not even being in the Conference League, they will get onto the same table in the transfer window as United, as Arsenal, as Spurs. They'll just say we're giving more money. So it will be up to the player to decide, do I want to play for a more prestigious team? Do I want to play in the Champions League? Or do I want to be excited, be part of this, the richest club in the world, basically, is what they are. That's their value proposition right now. Chris, I'll let you react to that, then Jonah, and then we'll move into the Champions League and close it. Yeah. So go ahead, Chris.
I don't see
your final thoughts on
I
Newcastle.
don't see Newcastle. I mean, it's pretty impressive what Eddie Howe managed to do. To be honest, I didn't think anyone could save Newcastle from relegation this season. I was pretty surprised that Eddie Howe was able to do it because they were looking really bad. But it's amazing what new owners, new manager, and a couple new players can do to a squad. That gives them some sort of belief. I mean, they had everything that we wanted at United, and therefore, like you said at the beginning, I mean, if you looked at the form table, they were on top for the second half of the season. However, given that there's a PE farm within there, I don't expect spending to be one of their key things. Just like that, they will spend, but it will be very calculated spending. Since they're not in the Champions League, I don't see any reason for them to spend really big in this window. And I also don't think the way these owners tend to be is that they don't tend to want to give a lot of money to inexperienced managers or managers who they haven't really gotten to trust that much or are not well renowned. Like they will give $1 million or 100 million to Mourinho, but they will not give 80 million to Eddie Howe. That's just how the world works, and that's just how the clubs, look at their finances. So they might spend here and there on one or two players, but I don't see them spending really big like they would probably a season or two from now. That's when I think it will really kick in. I think one of the things they also wanted to spend was the stadium. So they wanted to sort of refurbish St. James's Park. So we'll see quite a bit of money going into that, not to players for now, because they did pretty well with the squad that they have. So they'll just beef up maybe 1-2 players, and that will be it. So, but we will see them make some ground. But at the same time, teams will also take them more seriously than they did before. That's for sure.
I definitely think so. Jonah, your final thoughts on Newcastle, and we will move into predictions as well for the Champions League final coming up. So feel free to take it away after Newcastle.
All right. I'm really on the same page as Chris and Sly on this. Newcastle, I mean, we have all seen them. They've been building. Eddie Howe has done a great job. But we have all watched football long enough to know it's a very cruel sport. It's business. Eddie Howe just doesn't have the profile, that superstar profile type thing, for anyone to invest in him. Those guys the Arabs won't put money in him. They just won't, no matter how good he is. So probably it will take like 2 seasons. Maybe they'll give him next season, see what he does. And even then, I just don't think he has the profile for them to give him that crazy, I want Mbappe type money. You get? But I really think they're going to be a problem next season. Top 4 type of problem, I'm not sure. But they're going to be a problem.
Yeah.
They're really going to be a problem.
Conference League. I think they'll actually, sorry for chipping in, but I think they'll actually give Newcastle and Leicester City a headache. Those top what do you call that, tier 3 or something like that. Like there's the top 6, then there's the guys just below them. No, man. Yo, Sly, hold up.
No, real talk. It is the Arsenal team. Come on. Arsenal.
Jonah, what you were saying? Jonah, Let's
the
give
league.
John a chance to speak.
It's truly
Let's
one, two,
give.
three.
I just mute Sly here, man. Where's that mute button? Jonah, let's move
yes,
into the
sir.
Champions League. Enough with the Premier League. What is going
Yeah.
to go? What is going to happen? I'm hearing you guys have lost Fabinho and Thiago to injury. That's massive.
No, that's not true, actually.
Really?
Fabinho is fit.
Okay.
Salah is fit. Thiago is fit.
Uh-huh.
Van Dijk is the only one that's 50-50.
Oh.
And that worries me a bit. That worries me a bit, especially considering how Wolves kept getting chances behind us on the counter-attack. They just kept scooping balls and they were getting chances behind us. And that's what Madrid loves. Not just Madrid. That's what Mr. Ibro loves. That's his football. He will sit back and he will just and get his chance. And I'm afraid of that. Without Van Dijk there to organize the line, and we play a very high line, I'm afraid of that. But if you want my prediction, I think we're a very angry team. We're very disappointed with what happened with the league. As much as it wasn't in our hands the whole time, the fact that Aston Villa and Stevie G did what they did and made us believe it was about to happen, it made it more disappointing and more sour. We're going to be very angry. But Madrid is Madrid. And Champions League is their cup. Let's be honest. Everyone knows that. If I'll give a prediction, this is me being humble. 2-0 Liverpool.
I'll let Sly react to that first.
You're literally contradicting yourself. Because at the one end, you're talking about how your main defensive is not going to be there. And then
I've given my humble opinion on Sly, man.
You're going to keep a clean sheet. Like, how does that work? You're come on. Those guys are gonna score.
Sly, your prediction.
But Champions League, honestly, I want Madrid to win it, but I can see Liverpool pegging it, and I can see Liverpool pegging it in terms of if Thiago, if Fabinho is alive and in the game, like on his game, like he's really gonna be able to lock down that midfield, and there afterwards, there's no supply to Benzema, and if Benzema has to drop back, let me tell you, I saw it in the FA Cup final,
Madrid derby.
The night goes off, the likes of Mathew can come in and they can still perform the same role. They can't really read the game as much, and they'll perhaps might give the striker a bit more space. But like Jonah said, Madrid have been relying and have been playing a lot of like kind of counter-attack, kind of sucker punch football. And but I see Liverpool pegging it. I would go with like a 2-1 situation going Liverpool's way, or worst case if it's not 2-1, like they like doing like better opponents, they'll probably take it to penalties and then they'll squeeze
yeah, better opponents. I like that. Chris, your take on that Champions League final. Your prediction.
Yeah. So the Champions League final.
So I'll go with 2-1 Liverpool. If not 2-1 Liverpool, it'll probably go to penalties at this point. I think that.
And who wins those penalties, Sly?
No, you guys will win. Courtois is not very good at penalties, so I think he probably wins.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah. So I'm a bit biased because I really don't want Liverpool to take the Champions League. Neither do I want Real to take the 14th, but I think I would rather live with Real to take the 14th. But
you want a Taliban attacker?
As a soccer fan, to be honest, I think Alexander-Arnold is really going to get a test against Vini. Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo will probably also be on the right. I think he will start him this time. So Arnold and Robertson have their work cut out. And Arnold, given his defense, frailties, he's not the best defender. He's good at, but if you put a good attack against him and you have to hold him back, then he's really, really exposed. So that's why I see Real, winning on the counter, because Liverpool will not be able to express themselves as they usually do. They'll need to play something different, and that's going to be something new. So I see. I guess City. You saw what Carlo Ancelotti did. He took off Modric and Cruz, and everyone thought, "Oh, he's thrown in the towel." And those are the guys that actually won the game. So I see Real taking it 2-1, actually 3-1 is my prediction. Real, and it should be done by 90 minutes. I don't see extra time open.
Yeah, I feel I think I'm in the interest of time, we do have to bring the show to a close. I'll go with Liverpool because I feel they can get themselves into the situation City did and not throw it away. There's just something there, especially if Fabinho and Thiago at their best, and if Van Dijk starts with Salah and Mane. Whoever plays next to them, fine. They can always wing it. Probably start with Luis Diaz, who will give the Madrid defense grief. By the way, I don't think the Madrid defense is. I don't even know how they have survived that much, but they haven't replaced Sergio Ramos, and they've been lucky. To be honest, they're the center of the pack. I'm talking about the center. The wings, they're right, but the center of the pack. Those guys, no, it's just.
But that's been Madrid for the longest time.
1 game, yeah, 2 games, 3 games.
No, man, no, not really. I mean, Chris, man, I don't think they've done it for a while with that defense, because you see, you're forgetting they lost Ramos and they lost, Rafael Varane. You guys. And those guys
I mean, that's them in terms of walking into games as the underdogs. They basically walk into all finals as all many of them as underdogs. Yeah.
They actually stuck to
Right. I'll go with 2-1. I think Benzema will score, but I think Liverpool will nick it. Liverpool will nick it, man. So we have come to the end of our show. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been tuning in, thank you very much. Feel free to subscribe, hit the share button, hit the notification bell. Thank you for tuning in. We will be back very, very soon, but I think we also deserve a little bit of a break from the chaos that was the English Premier League. In the words of Peter Drury, it's been colorful, cacophonic chaos, and we look forward to the next season. Ladies and gentlemen, adios until next time.